What's up, Advanced Financial Algebra? Welcome back to my office. I want to talk to you a minute about what we're learning. We're learning about the stock market. And, these times are so difficult. They really are. And especially for you seniors. And I know it's very tempting to just sit there and not really do anything. All of us adults kind of talk about what would we have done if we were a senior right now. And I don't know. I think I probably would have done most of my work, but I'm kind of a nerd and you kind of know that. So there's that. But here's the thing. What we're learning right now is actually useful stuff. You are entering the adult world and you're going to be part of the stock market. It is what it is. We all are at some point, and that's because of things you've heard about. Maybe your parents have talked about it. A 401k. What's a 401k? It's a retirement account. I almost said 403b. That's a retirement account for me, for teachers. But if you're not a teacher and you're in the private industries and you're working for a company, you're going to have a 401k. And you know what a 401k is? It's money that you have invested in, wait for it, the stock market. So you're going to be in it. Your folks are in the stock market. Wouldn't it be good to understand what the heck you're doing with all that money? I think it would be good. So I'm going to encourage you to finish this year strong. We're literally just going to talk about the stock market and then be done. And when you're done with this, you're going to know more than you do right now. You will be a smart consumer, along with all the buying and selling cars and credit cards and compound interest that we've done. Extremely valuable. This is also extremely valuable. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm sincerely trying to help you learn things that will help you in the future. So pay attention, do your work. I'm not asking a lot. We're literally doing 2 assignments a week, and they're pretty simple. And it's meant to be that simple. I'm not trying to overload you. So if you could, please keep doing your work. Those of you who are doing it on a daily basis, I recognize you. I see you doing all your work, and I really appreciate it. But I want to talk about a little bit, what is the stock market? What the heck are we talking about? Well, there's a few things that you read about in 8.1 or chapter 8. 1. There's some key terms here. One of the key terms I want to talk about, I think it's right there, is sole proprietorship. What's a sole proprietorship? It's a company where one person owns that company. And companies are like that. When you see a plumber's truck going down the road, or an electrical truck, those guys are probably sole proprietorships. They own their company and it's just them. But that brings another term into play, and it's personal liability. Yeah, or is it personally liable? It's one of those two. Let me just check. It's personally liable. And what that means is, if you own the company by yourself, then you are responsible for everything. If your company loses money, you take money out of your pocket and you lose that money. It is what it is, which is why some people start something called a corporation. Why? Well, because corporations are protected by law and there's limited liability. And what that means is, if your corporation were to lose money, the corporation loses money, but you personally don't. You don't lose money out of your account. You don't have to give money out of your pocket, as in a sole proprietorship. So there's a big difference. But then when you talk about corporations, there's privately held corporations and then there's publicly owned corporations. The privately held corporations are held by people or a group of people, partners, for instance, like a sports team. If you own the New York Yankees, like they said in the book, that would be a private corporation. They gave some other examples, like a car dealership. It's a corporation, but it's held privately. And what that means is, you and I, the public, can't buy shares of their company. But then there's public corporations. Public corporations are where people like you and I can buy a share of their company. And when you buy a share, it literally means you own a very tiny part of that company. And sometimes I mean tiny. Like, for example, I looked up Google this morning. Take a look at this. This top price right here, this $1256.65. That's $1,256. That's how much money you would need to buy one share of Google right now. One. and you'd own a very small part of it. Are you wondering how much you would own? Well, here's the deal. There are over 16 million shares of Google available. So if you buy one, you own one out of 16 million shares. Man, that's not much. And that little tiny bit that you own cost over $1,200 today. So, oh my gosh, but that, hey, that's one share. What if you bought two shares? Well, it's two out of the 16 million shares available. What if you could, I know this is crazy, but what if you could literally buy 8 million shares of the 16 million? What if you could buy 8 of the 16 million? Well, that means you own half the company. What if you bought 8,000,001 share? Now you own a majority of the company. And that's when things start getting interesting, because if you own a majority of the company, guess who gets to make the decisions? You make the decisions. And now you can start steering the company where you want. Sometimes you've even heard of something called a hostile takeover. And that's when somebody comes in and buys a whole bunch of shares, and all of a sudden, before anybody knows it, they own the majority of the company, and they can do whatever they want with the company, including taking a bunch of the money. So these are interesting things. They're important things. It's stuff that happens in the adult world. And let me tell you, there can't be a much more interesting time to watch the stock market than right now. Oh my God, the stock market goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. Unemployment goes up, the stock market goes down. Trump gives out $2.2 trillion to everybody. Well, it's not just Trump, it's the government. For a stimulus, the stock market goes up. You know what? But this COVID thing, people are staying home. Well, the stock market's going to go back down. I got to tell you, of course, I'm in the stock market. I'm in the 403B. I'm in retirement. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even looking. And that's because I'm in it for the long haul. I don't need the money right now, thankfully. I'm not trying to retire right now. I got another 10 or 12 years to retire, so I'm just going to let that money just be there. And I'm not even going to look. Because why? What am I going to do? Get all stressed out? What am I going to do? Cry? Maybe. It depends, but probably not. Anyway, hey, I just want you to know the stock market stuff is important. There's a lot going on, and it's important that you understand it. One of the examples I wanted to talk about was this little example number 3. Let me turn this around so I can show you what I'm talking about, all right? Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I was going to try to turn this around, and that did not work. So, hey, take a look. This is what I wanted to point out. I wanted to point out this ratio right here, this 2 to 3 to 5 ratio, and then draw a comparison from that right to here. 2x plus 3x plus 5x equals the $900,000. This is how you're going to solve this problem, and it makes sense. If you have a 2 to 3 to 5, well, that's 2x plus 3x plus 5x. And of course, that only tells you what x is right there, right? X is equal to 90,000. And then what you can do is multiply that by 2, multiply by 3, multiply by 5 to see what they all have. But I just want to point that out because there is a problem in your homework kind of like that. So make sure you read that example and just kind of follow along with how they solve that, all right? All right, other than that example, most of it's pretty simple. A lot of percentages. We should be really good at percentages and just a little bit of knowledge about the stock market. But keep up, get this done. It's going to be due on Monday. Don't forget my office hours. And we are going to continue this next week, including doing a very brief stock market project, but just so you have an idea of what's happening, all right, and what the stock market is doing. Pay attention to those things that are going on around you, all right? Thanks for listening to me today. Hit me up with a question. Text me, see me on my Zoom, do something, all right? Don't sleep all day. Get out and do stuff today, all right? Hope you keep doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. See you guys.